The general public hasn't seen it yet, and the news isn't reporting on it yet, but it's happening. The market has hit its peak, and the pendulum is starting to swing back the other way. What everybody's wondering is, are we looking at a gradual swing, or is this about to be the most epic crash in recent history? And that's what I'm going to give you answers for today. I'm Christy Wampler with Team Locale at Nebraska Realty, and I have heard it over and over again. Even agents who've been around 30 plus years will tell you this is like nothing they have ever seen. It is insane. But guess what? It's about to shift. Everyone has their own interpretations of what the market's going to do, but you can ask most agents, and if they're paying any attention to the murmurs around their brokerage or watching days on market for current available homes, they will tell you there is a shift happening. Houses are starting to sit maybe a few more days on market, and agents are seeing less traffic come through their open houses. I've also noticed more houses that are dropping prices lately, and it's little bits at a time. And of course, not every home, and also varies very much depending on what price range you're looking in. Probably right around 400 or so, you start to kind of hit a threshold where homes above 400, they're going to slowly take a little bit longer, and they're going to sit on the market a little bit longer. Buyers are going to be able to be a tiny bit more selective in that price range, and they're not like flying off the shelves like hotcakes. Let's even take a look at some of the posts and comments from other agents around our brokerage. I showed a $150,000 listing today that we wrote on. Agent had only 6 showings today. Sellers got cocky and wanted more than my buyer was willing to do, so we pulled our offer. Market, I feel, is changing. In response to whether they feel the market is slowing, yes, me. 2 showings all day. Another agent responded, me, and same. This home survived the weekend somehow, and it definitely feels like the market has shifted slightly. Are you sure no one has a buyer for this? I'm baffled. And what happened to the frenzy of buyers and quick sales? Are you all seeing some slowdown? I've seen several homes sitting. So the market, after 2 years of being virtually impossible to navigate from the buyer's end, is finally starting to slow down. So what's causing the shift? And is it going to end up in a crash, or is this just going to be kind of one of those gradual slows, cooling off of the market that we've seen in the past? And then also, what does it mean for you as a buyer or seller? So as we all know, the Fed has been gradually, or maybe quickly, increasing interest rates on home loans. And so that is definitely playing into a buyer's incentive to jump on buying that new home or that first home like they've had in the past as a result of COVID and all that. Other monies involved or financial implications, we had all the stimulus payments, and we had student loan payments being held off, and even mortgage payments being held off. And so those were some pockets of money that are now beginning to dry up. And so people are starting to feel that. They don't feel like they have that wiggle room anymore to be able to set aside. And so I think things are going to slow down a lot. Let's not forget unprecedented inflation rates, gas prices, supply chain issues, and a roller coaster of a stock market. But what's not causing it is the reason I believe this is not going to be a crash. A lot of people keep referring back to the Great Recession and 2007, 8, and 9, and the similarity of the super low interest rates and all that. But what we're not dealing with is just the entire American people completely losing faith in the banking system, in real estate, and all of that. That was the biggest factor of why everything came to a screeching halt. You had loans being given out to borrowers that would never have been able to pay those debts back. And so for better or worse, that recession was actually the catalyst for a lot of laws and safeguards that were put into place to avoid a recurrence of that situation. Things like more conservative lending practices, stricter laws, and higher expectations for industry agents. So in my interpretation, this is much more of a gradual shift. And thankfully, if you're on the buying side, you can look forward to finally be able to get back to a more normal order of business as far as making an offer on a home, not having 15 other offers on the table, not needing to include things like an escalation clause. If you need help with that, check out this video. not needing to plan on a full cash offer or making an offer $20,000 over asking price. And I do believe it won't be too long before making those offers with an FHA or VA loan won't seem like a pipe dream. So what does this mean for you as a seller or buyer? If you're selling, get while the getting's good. Now is the time so that you don't waffle for the next 3-4 months and then look back and are just beside yourself, depressed of how much equity you have lost for not jumping in, taking the leap, and just moving on to the next bigger and better thing. You don't want to look back 6 months from now and regret having waffled on your decision and then realize how much equity you could have capitalized on and taken advantage in the purchase of your next home. And now being the perfect time for that, especially because as the market is starting to soften, cool off, slow down, however you want to say it, it's opportune time to go ahead, get your home sold quickly, and then take advantage of that market that's starting to slow down. Take all of that equity that you're able to pull out of your home sale and put it back into being able to find a home that you actually are going to enjoy and not feeling rushed in the process. As a buyer, I'm sure you can read between the lines and figure out that things are beginning to swing back in your favor. So, for example, if you are currently renting, it would probably do you good to sit tight for a little bit and watch as things kind of move back more into your favor. However, if you need to find a home, whether that's for maybe a job relocation or moving out of state or something of that nature, then now is the time to go ahead and take advantage of that. Won't it be nice to finally be able to make an offer that's not $20,000 over asking and full cash, and make sure it's not any contingencies? And by the way, you might as well throw in naming your first child after the sellers. If you're thinking of moving into or around the Omaha or Bennington area, I would love to help you with that. Make sure to take a look at this video about why I would love to help you with your move in Omaha, Nebraska.